everyone. I'm Brianda Nava, and I'm here to remind you that you are an amazing, multidimensional human being. If you don't know me, I teach about the 7 dimensions of wellness, and today we are focusing on the physical dimension, more specifically, cycle syncing. If you haven't watched the video I made before this one, where I talk about what is cycle syncing, what are the 4 phases, and how to eat according to your cycle, go back and watch that one first, and then come back and watch this one. In this one, we're going to be talking about how to work out according to your cycle and what is the best way to manage your work and social life according to your cycle. All right, so we're going to start off with what does cycle syncing say about working out? So during your menstrual phase, it is recommended that you take it a little bit lighter. You can do yoga, you can just take a rest day, you can walk, or you can do mat Pilates. During your follicular phase, you start getting a little bit more energy. And during this time, it's recommended to do cardio, cycling, or strength training. During your ovulatory phase is when you have the most energy, you are the strongest. And during this time, you can do HIIT, which is high intensity training, or you can do strength training, but going your heaviest. So this is where you would want to hit your PR. And for your luteal phase, you can do moderate strength training or just body weight or reformative Pilates and walking. Now, when I first started learning about cycle syncing, I thought that this was the only thing I could do during each phase. So I tried it out, started losing muscle, didn't love it. I loved the fact that I was able to heal my period because I was eating differently during each phase and I was working out differently during each phase. But muscle wise, I didn't feel like it was the best for me. So I started following a program by Brett Contreras. If you probably have heard of him, and he focuses more on growing your glutes, but his program does have full body workouts. So what he teaches is progressive overload. And what is progressive overload? So that is when you progressively go heavier each week so you get stronger. So, for example, the way he breaks it up is during week one, he calls it the deload week. So, during this week, you are just going to get familiar with your new program. You're not going to try to go super heavy, you're not trying to break any record. You're just going through the workout. I don't want to say going through the motions, but just getting familiar with the workout, making your form is right, and you're pushing yourself about 70%. On the second week, you are going to push yourself about 80%. You can start going a little bit heavier. And by heavier, you can either add more weight or you can do more reps or more sets. For the third week, you push yourself about 90%. And then for the fourth week, you're going to push yourself 100%. Excuse me. So this is where you're going to break your records, right? You're going to go the heaviest. So, taking what I learned from him, taking what I learned from cycle syncing, I was trying to put the two together and trying to figure out which phase should be what week. And then I watched a video by Stephanie Buttermore, and she talks about also about cycle syncing, and she talked about a study that was done on a group of women. So for they took a group of women, and on one leg they had them work out. They had them do 2 leg workouts during their follicular phase and 8 leg workouts during their luteal phase. On the other leg, they had them do 8 workouts on their follicular phase and 2 leg workouts on their luteal phase. And the result was that the leg that did the most workouts during the follicular phase was the leg that had the most muscle. So the conclusion was that we are our strongest during our follicular phase, and we also are able to build the most muscle. So knowing that, I realized that what works best for me is if I make my luteal phase, my late luteal phase, because the luteal phase is a 2 week period. So my late luteal phase, which would be days before my period, I would make that my week one, and I would just do body weight. So another thing Brett does is, since he's trying to accommodate everyone, he gives us 3 options. So option A is full gym equipment. Option 2 is dumbbell workouts, dumbbells only. And then 3 is at home or body weight workouts. So what I did is, since I was making my luteal week, my week one, my deload week, I was doing the at home workouts then. I don't like to lift weights during that time because one, it's not I don't feel like it's good for the body, and then two, it's I'm not gonna build that much muscle anyway. So the point is to just move. So that's the only purpose that working out during your luteal phase has. So you go lighter or you just walk or you just take it easy. Now, when I get my period, day 1 and 2, and sometimes 3, I just rest. I don't try to do anything. If I feel good enough, I'll go walking. And then while I'm still bleeding but getting off of it, that's when I go back to the gym and I start pushing myself a little bit more. What I learned about cycle syncing, the workouts, how we know during this phase you can do Pilates, during this phase you can do cardio, all those things are really good because I can now incorporate them into my workout plan. So if there's a day, let's say during my luteal phase where I don't feel like even doing certain things, I can do Pilates. Or if I don't have time to get a workout in during my ovulatory phase, I know that I can do a HIIT workout. And then for me personally, I try to push myself the most during my follicular and ovulatory phases, which is when I'm the strongest. And then I bring it down on the other phases. During the other phases, I just start going lighter. And it's so good for me to know that I won't be losing out on gains or I won't be messing up what I worked so hard for during the month. And it's just better for your body. The female body and the male body are so different that a man can just do the same workouts all month long. It doesn't make a difference. But as women, we are different and that's okay. Like we should celebrate that and we should honor that. This episode was brought to you by BCN Supplements, our all-natural supplement company. First off, we have our hydrolyzed collagen. This is a 4-in-1. It comes with vitamin C for better absorption, hyaluronic acid, and biotin. So this is good for your skin, your hair, your nails, and your joints. And this is for both men and women. Next up, we have our immunity, which is a 7-in-1 vitamin. It has vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, echinacea, elderberry, black pepper, and garlic bulb. So this will give your immune system that extra boost. And lastly, we have our natural pre-workout. It does have 325 milligrams of natural caffeine from green tea. It is sweetened with stevia, and its purpose is energy, focus, and endurance. And for our listeners, we do have a discount code. If you visit our website, www.bcnsupps.com, you can use code BUILT, BUILT, for 10% off. Thank you so much for listening. All right, so now let's talk about work, social life, productivity when it comes to the phases. So let's start with the menstrual phase. A lot of people like to start with follicular. I like to start with menstrual because that is day 1. So during your menstrual phase is when you are the most intuitive and reflective. So during this phase, you want to course correct, you want to evaluate, listen to your gut feeling. Your right and left brain are the most connected and communicating with each other. You're able to access the analytical and intuitive reasoning. So you want to reflect on the past month. How was your performance? How are you getting along with your colleagues? Are you working on the projects that you care about? Is your job going in the direction that you want it to? What are the big changes you need to make to stay happy and successful in your job and career? So, one example, I'm going to take podcasting as an example or content creating. So, during this time, during my reflective and intuitive phase, is when I think about the topics. What are the things that I want to address? What are the things I want to talk about? And I write them down. Now, the follicular phase, this is when you are a creative superstar. You have more energy. You are open and ready to try new things. This is a good time to start a new project, plan the month ahead, do some project management, break out the Excel document and plan, brainstorm with people in meetings, dream big, mastermind how you would take over the world. So, following the podcasting and content creating idea, this would be the time when, okay, so during my menstrual phase, I thought since I was in my reflective mode, I thought about the topics I wanted to talk about, wrote them down. So now I know what I want to talk about. In my follicular phase, I'm going to reach out to my guests. Who do I want to invite to talk about each topic with me? Get in touch with them, schedule the podcast, kind of bounce ideas back and forth. and now I'm ready for my ovulatory phase, which is the phase when I am the most social, I communicate better, and I just have more energy overall, especially social energy. So, this phase, we would call it the great communicator. The communication and collaboration skills are at the highest during this time. The brain chemistry you have during this phase heightens your verbal skills. This is a great time to have important conversations. Maybe ask for that raise, plan to negotiate deals, work with your vendors. Since you will be the most irresistible, try to plan ahead of schedule. You are a magnet. So, like we spoke in the last video, your body was designed to reproduce. So, during your ovulatory phase, which is when you can get pregnant, some studies have shown that your waist gets smaller, so you become more, your voice changes, and you just become more attractive to the opposite sex. So you can also use that to your advantage at work in the sense that I'm not saying to go and flirt with people at work. What I'm saying is this is a time when you are the most social, more open. This is the perfect time for you to ask for favors, go on the interview, ask for a raise. And if you are content creating or you're a podcaster, since we are using that example, this would be the time for you to actually do the podcast, record the podcast, and have those conversations. Now, for the luteal phase, this is when your energy starts to go down a little bit. You are getting ready to go back into your winter phase. You're going to start menstruating again. So, this phase, we're going to call it the power phase. So, this is a power phase for getting things done. You are most task oriented and feel the most pleasure at completing projects during this time. It's easy to focus and pay attention to minute details. This is the longest phase, so that's a good thing. We are able to leverage this attention to detail to accomplishing pretty flawless work product, wrap up projects, bring things to completion, do administrative type tasks, your accounting, submit your monthly reports, your expense reports. So, going back again to the podcast example, this would be the time where I would sit down and edit and upload the podcasts. Another thing that I know content creators do is they choose 1 week or even 1 day out of the month where they take all their pictures or record all their videos. And then for their luteal phase, they sit down and edit everything and organize their feed. So, knowing all of this is so helpful because you are better able to manage your time and work with your cycle instead of trying to fight it. Instead of when you're in your menstrual phase, trying to force yourself to be social and go out there to network or do the podcast. Once you know what your body naturally does, you're able to adjust your schedule to that. And it's such a life changing experience. I hope this was helpful. And if it was, please subscribe, give it a like, and send it to someone who you think might benefit from this. I'll see you guys on the next one.